Welcome to Cedar Club, Quincy's favorite local bar. A friendly corner bar with a laid-back atmosphere and affordable drinks. It's the perfect spot for a great time. With entertainment galore, including shuffleboard, golden tee, pool, foosball, and winning gaming machines. Cedar Club's latest edition is the best spot to catch your favorite game. Great drinks, great friends, and great times. Cedar Club, 20th and Cedar in Quincy. Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Joining me today, Danielle Flesner and Laura Bergman. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
So I'm really excited to talk about this today. It seems like a really cool opportunity. Excited to learn a little bit more and maybe share with our viewers/listeners how they can get involved. So Danielle, you are with Adams Telephone.
Yes.
And you are with Adams Electric.
Right.
And you were saying co-op. Right?
Yes.
Different co-ops,
Yep.
which I know what that is, but I don't really know how it affects what we're going to talk about. So maybe we can get into that a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
But we're here today to talk about Youth to Washington program.
Right.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what that is and how you all got involved.
Sure. I've been with Adams Electric for almost 23 years now. The program has actually been going on since 1959.
Okay.
The way it started was Lyndon Johnson was at a NRECA annual meeting in Chicago with electric cooperatives. That's the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. And he told the cooperative leaders at that meeting that he wanted them to, if anything came out of that meeting, he wanted them to realize the importance of sending students to Washington, D.C. And so that was in 1957. And in 1958, he was still senator of Texas at the time. And so electric cooperatives in Texas started sending students to Washington, D.C. for them to work in Washington. And then in 1959, 130 electric cooperatives started sending students to Washington, D.C., and then it became an official program through NRECA in 1964.
Okay.
So Adams Electric has actually been sending students to Washington, D.C. for 65 years.
Wow.
The only year we missed was during COVID. There was
Okay.
1 year. And Adams Telephone joined the program in 2004, so we now send 2 students from each co-op so we can double the opportunities for students in the area.
Right.
So,
That's so
yeah.
cool. Okay, now I think I understand the importance of sending kids to Washington, but give me a little information about, why and what are they doing there?
you
I'm
want-
gonna keep that on her. I've only been involved in the program for the past 2 years.
Okay.
Haven't had the opportunity to go to DC yet.
Okay.
Through this Youth to Washington opportunity, so I'm gonna keep it over to Laura.
Yeah,
to
okay,
give some
sounds good.
details.
Yeah, sure.
So there's 2 parts to the program. There's Youth Day in Springfield, which is March 5th.
Okay.
That they learn about their state government, and they learn a little bit about co-ops throughout the day. And then the second part is if they win the trip to Washington, D.C., then they're going to see their national leaders. And then they also learn about co-ops on that trip.
Okay.
So part of what they'll learn about why electric cooperatives are involved in this is we teach them a little bit about cooperatives on the trip. So they'll form their own cooperative on the bus,
Okay.
where they'll buy snacks and they will elect their own directors, and then those directors will hire a manager that will run their co-op. And then at the end of the trip, if they've made any profits, then just like cooperatives, those profits are returned to the members of that cooperative.
Yeah.
So they learn about co-ops on the trip while they're there.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So it's like a real life kind of experiment type
Yeah,
thing that
yeah.
gets them engaged and gives them a little information and education on how things work. That's so cool. And a Washington, D.C. trip to
So
boot.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's completely paid for.
Okay.
Paid for by the co-ops. It's a week-long tour. We pack it completely full with a ton of different things.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get to see the Smithsonian museums. They go to the Supreme Court, the National Archives, the Holocaust Museum.
Very cool.
There's a Potomac riverboat cruise. They go to the Civil War battlefield in Gettysburg,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it's just absolutely. There's barely any time for them to
Yeah.
sleep during this whole week-long tour.
Well, there's so much to do
yeah.
and see. So
Yeah,
you're
right.
not just learning about co-ops, but you're also learning about history.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And everything Washington, D.C. has to offer, which if you've been, you know that everywhere you look, it's almost like goosebump inducing because there's just so
Yeah.
much history and
Right.
so much
Yeah, right.
humanity there.
Yes.
Right? So very, very cool. Now, who's selected, I guess,
Yeah, sure.
to even be eligible for this?
Sure. So first step is get to Youth Day. And how
Okay.
you get to Youth Day is filling out our application. almost couldn't be any easier. We make it very simple for these students to fill it out. We've got it online. Easily can drop it off at the schools that we're representing at their offices. We already have some at the hands there at
Okay.
those schools. So the application, fill it out, get it into us. We are going to take, collectively, we're going to take 34 students
Okay.
from our area. From the cooperatives that we represent, 34 students are going to get on the charter bus with us to get to Youth Day.
Okay.
It couldn't be any easier. We're
Okay.
going to have fun on Youth Day. They're going to go through an interview at the very end of Youth Day. And students, you know, that I don't want to do an interview.
Yeah.
It couldn't be easier. It's talking about themselves and if they had fun in
Pretty
Springfield.
informal.
Yes.
Pretty quick.
Very informal,
Yeah.
very quick. The people that are hosting the interviews, they just want to get to know who that student is and if they are going to have a good time and really take in what an experience is in DC. Are they
Yeah.
really going to appreciate that experience? And
Sure.
that's all. That's
Yeah.
all. Couldn't be easier.
Couldn't be easier, and it sounds like the payoff is definitely worth it. Now, what age group are we looking at? Did we cover that already?
This is sophomores and juniors in high school.
Okay, sophomores and juniors
And it
in
could
high
be
school.
any school in in either of our territories. So there's
Okay.
about 10 schools between the two.
Okay.
And if they're not in our territory, they're probably in a different electric co-op territory.
Sure,
also.
that are also
Still
going to be
do
doing
that.
the same
Yes. Yeah,
program.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you mentioned a website. Do they just go to individual?
Either one.
Okay.
Either one. They don't have to be a member of either cooperative
Okay.
to enter.
Okay.
And they don't have to know which one. If they are a member of Adams Telephone or Adams Electric, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
We just take all the applications combined between the two of us, and we separate them based on our territories, and we know that part of it, so they don't have to worry about that.
Gotcha.
And they can either go to adamselectric.coop, which is ours, or adams.net for
Okay,
theirs. So.
perfect. And then they just go on, fill out an application. You don't have to have, there's no real eligibility requirements other than sophomore or junior.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that you want to learn a little bit more about co-ops and learn a little bit more about Washington, D.C. and go and have fun with other like-minded individuals, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
completely free if
Well,
they're
that's-
selected.
That's
Yep.
the biggest takeaway. It's free application,
Yeah.
free trip to Springfield for Youth Day, completely free trip to Washington, D.C. next June.
Yeah.
Everything's taken care of.
Next
if you want to
June.
buy a T-shirt, you know, while you're in D.C.,
Yeah.
you know, bring
That's
a little
on you.
cash. Yeah.
Sure.
They're
but
going to get several free T-shirts along the way.
Yeah,
though,
right.
so.
Okay.
You know.
So 2 events. First event that they have to get to is by filling out an application at either of your websites.
Yes.
And once you've gone through and kind of vetted some of those applicants, then you'll choose 34 who will then get on a bus to Springfield. They will go through a fun day of activities. Then they'll sum it up with a quick informal interview on what they thought of the day and kind of why they're excited to be involved in this trip. And then you'll select 2 from each co-op, right? And 4 students will get to go to Washington, D.C. completely free to experience real life, kind of what it is to be a part of a co-op and Washington, D.C. as a whole. Did I get that
You
right?
got it.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's
So one
easy.
more time, when do the applications need to be in?
The applications are due by February 17th.
Okay.
If they turn in by February 3rd, though, they have a chance at a gift card, a $25 gift card
Yeah.
just for being an early,
Early
bird.
bird.
Heck
Yep.
yeah.
Let's
So
get 'em
get your
in.
get your applications in by February 3rd by going to the website for Adams. Say it again real quick.
Adamselectric.coop.
Okay, and
Adams.net.
okay, perfect.
Yep.
So, yeah, and then by February 3rd, if you can't get it by February 3rd, no worries, get it by February 17th.
Yes, that's right.
ma'am.
And then you will be eligible to be considered for the trip
Yeah,
to Springfield.
absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, this is really, really cool. I had no idea you've been doing it for so long, but what a cool program. It's not surprising that it's had such a long life. So
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah.
Thank you for keeping it up. Thank you, girls, for coming in and chatting about
you
it.
so much.
And definitely get your applications in. This sounds like a very cool thing. I know some sophomores and juniors. I'm going to spread
There
the
you
word
go.
too.
Absolutely.
So,
Good.
yeah,
Great.
spread the
Appreciate
word.
it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, girls. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yep.
All right, coming up next, Britt B and Ash C, Coffee Talk. Stay tuned.
I'm Bob Goff, Publisher General Manager of Muddy River News. I'm with Ryan Parkhurst, the General Manager of the Hy-Vee stores here in Quincy. And have we got a deal for you? You can win Christmas dinner from Hy-Vee. Ryan, tell me about it.
For Christmas, we're going to give away a ham dinner for 8, which includes 2 sides of mashed potatoes, 2 large sides of your choice, gravy, rolls, the whole fixin'. So it's an amazing deal, and all you have to do is heat it up in the oven.
And all you have to do is go to an email and go contest@muddyrivernews.com. Just your name. All you got to do. You don't have to give a reason why or anything like that. and we will take care. They will take care of your dinner. And again, this is going to run through December 20th, and you will deliver it up until Christmas Eve, correct?
Yep. Christmas Eve until we close at 5.
All right, that sounds like a heck of a deal. And once again, want to thank Hy-Vee for partnering with us. And again, thanks, and we appreciate your help.
Yeah, we appreciate you, and happy holidays from Hy-Vee.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Welcome out to Kelly's on Broadway tonight. We're drinking cold beer and it feels so right. I'll meet you out on Broadway underneath Shamrock Light. We're gonna have a good time on the patio tonight. There's a party down at Kelly's on Broadway tonight. We're drinking cold beer on a champagne night. We're feeling all alone and you got no place to go. So come down here and drink a beer on Kelly's patio. Kelly's a fun place to eat and drink. 2902 Broadway.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
And welcome back. Now it's time for Coffee Talk with Ash C and Britt B. And before we get going, want to give a big shout out of love and respect to my family. We lost a great one. My Uncle Jerry Eberhart was an amazing guy in our community. I know he touched everyone who knew him, and a lot of people who may not have, especially a lot of people in this newsroom. So a lot of love and respect. I know he was one of the greats, definitely one of my favorites. So lots of love, lots of prayers, lots of peace and comfort go out to my family at this time. He died peacefully on Saturday, December 14th, surrounded by his family, which I know is how he would have wanted to go. So wanted to pay those respects. He will be missed. He made quite an impact. And before I start crying, that's all I'll say about that. But
yeah, please don't cry on
no,
me.
I won't, because then I know
I'll
all cry.
I'll make a joke.
Yeah, okay.
He was your uncle. Imagine that.
Yes, right?
You're related to everyone.
I'm related to everyone. But he was the one who was, he's what I would consider the funkle. He was the fun uncle who always made you, he always knew the right thing to say. He always, would either call you dear or kiddo or always had a hug. He was sassy like the rest of the family, but his love was even bigger. So,
and he seemed like, just from an outside perspective, kind of like the patriarch. You know how like every family has a matriarch. Yes. He seemed quite like the patriarch of the family, and he was the person in charge because he was respected.
Yes, he was respected, and he earned that respect. And I think his obituary, the last line, summed it up quite well. Of course, also in Matthew, well done, faithful and something servant. I don't want to screw it up, but
Yeah.
well done. So he lived life to the fullest, and I would indeed say well done. So,
Yes.
okay. All right. Onward to, I don't know how to segue this because I don't want to be disrespectful, but not so well done.
Yeah, or
Okay.
not so much maybe a leader.
Right. Yes. There you go.
So last night's city council meeting was off the hook.
Yes.
It was crazy. And Bob was the one that covered it this time. And he split it up into 2 articles. You know, there's the article of the news and what happened and what went down. And then he also wrote a column.
Yes.
That was what went down in, I think, some pretty cool words.
Yeah.
It made it fun to read. I
did.
was just saying, like, I wish, like, more often we could do things like this.
It's an opinion piece, but it's definitely.
But not often do we have, I mean, I guess lately we have had this more often than not, but not often do you have such a meeting that allows words, popcorn,
Yeah.
entertainment,
Yeah.
and also embarrassment.
Yeah. I think Alderman Farhaz sitting in the back could become a meme. He's just
Possibly.
there to, eat popcorn and watch what goes down until he's not.
Yes.
And then no one can hear him because he's not sitting in his designated seat. So let me be the first to say, one expectation, alderman, should be that if you are at the meeting, sit in your chair.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if there was a reason, then say the reason too. You know, like make that known because it seems kind of disingenuous, disrespectful.
It seems very
but yeah, I mean, I
disrespectful
feel
unless
like
there's- yeah,
if you have an actual reason,
Was there one that I'm not aware
no,
of? Okay.
I mean, we don't, not that we know of,
Okay.
but I'm stating if there was, like, if there's some kind of excuse or what have you, I would think you would preface that just to like give a good image to what these meetings are about, you know, and
you're representing
Yeah.
more than just your
constituents.
opinion.
Yeah, you're representing your constituents. You're
Yeah.
representing the community altogether. And when things like that happen, and things like the
And
outbursts,
the the seriousness of which we all take the community strength, right?
Yeah.
The strength of our community is represented by these fine gentlemen sitting on, and ladies and gentlemen sitting on this board. And if they're not taking it seriously enough to give it the respect that it deserves, then we can't take them seriously enough to give them the respect that they deserve. I
So,
think.
yeah.
Now, that's just me talking because it was aggravating to read that
kind
this
of-
is
yeah.
that this is the so a lot of times you can say not my circus, not my monkeys. This is our circus and these are our monkeys.
And this is a
unfortunately, unfortunately it is a damn circus anymore. It's like the respect is lost, and this is kind of what we were talking about with Brett the other night. This is why I understand the level of passion. I understand that people take it very personally, which I respect that. If you can't conduct yourself with certain decorum in these professional meeting settings,
yeah.
why are we electing these people?
I don't know, but I did have a thought today about, and maybe this is a little off base, and this sounds bad, but when you were like the gentlemen and the ladies,
Yeah.
maybe we do need some more ladies to.
I think we need a house
join-
mother.
Yeah. I know, like you said, when people are passionate and excited and
heated.
angry and heated, maybe that was the testosterone. I don't know. I know that like it.
A lot of
points
it's
people
ego.
were yelling and angry, but I don't know. Like when I get heated and stuff, even I get like that too.
Oh,
But I think I was just thinking to myself, okay, so like women have their monthly visitor,
I scream like a banshee.
and
I'm a screamer. I'm like,
I think I'm having contractions at times, and like I have
Yeah.
to go through the whole embarrassment of, hey, did I go all the way through?
Well, I
Which
think-
just recently happened.
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
But
So,
I
like,
think women are more hormone emotional and men are more ego.
But
And
so-
I guess it would be like, okay, egos in my mind are nothing but self-serving. Ours we can't really
Control.
help a lot of the time.
But yet we
What's
can
the difference?
control is what I was getting to.
We can
is what-
control?
but yet we can control it.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we don't control that and what's going on, but we control ourselves in a decorum, even though,
Yeah.
literally I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
And I can control my
I'm
emotions.
shedding my insides.
And I can control my emotions.
Okay, so I can control my emotions in certain
certain
environments. Last night, let me say this. Had I been PMSy, hormonal, and in that room, I would have shut every mofo down in there just with some logical statements of we got to come together. If we can't do it, then let's take a recess.
It's also like a family aspect, if you think too. Like, you tell your kids, we're going to be on the best behavior, or you're going to be on your best behavior.
I always say, don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
Is what I say.
It's kind of like that, where, maybe we should get our stuff together before we go out there on the floor.
Well, I think maybe, and I don't know what happens because I've never been kind of behind the scenes, but when you have all these things that you want to say, you create this internal narrative of what's going to happen that night, right? And then you go out with this expectation, and something happens. Someone says something that you didn't really plan on. You've worked up this whole thing in the shower about what you're going to say. Then someone says something that, totally goes off base of what you expected. And then you're like, well, now I have to respond. You don't give your brain long enough to
think
kind
about
of form a logical thought or a rational thought. You just respond because you're angry about something.
Yeah.
Right? You have these expectations that they're going to respond in a way that you don't like. So then you get the back and forth with zero thought. So maybe there needs to be a meeting before the meeting where some of this can be quote unquote kind of hashed out with some bullet points, and maybe somebody there doing a recording,
but then we wouldn't have the popcorn of these meetings.
I guess that's true, but I just don't like the popcorn.
And transparency too.
Transparency is what I think is what we're all kind of fighting for.
Yeah.
And I think but
if you're holding meetings before meetings,
but if you have somebody in there, let's say you got like a stenographer, whatever, what do you call those people? Recorder?
Yeah.
They just are sitting in to record the facts. We don't need to see the shit show that's happening, the arguments and the cutting off and the not letting people speak, but we do need to hear what's being said. But then also when you come to the forefront of this public meeting, you should either have your best face forward or you should
get your period under control.
God, I don't know, man. Everybody says that women are like we cackle and we're the ones and we're the quote unquote biches, but I think that there's a lot to be said for how a man controls his temper,
or lack of, because I said it was testosterone, but I guess I don't think of these things as being manly, but that's besides the point,
Well, I think it's just natural to say women and men and how we regulate emotion and blah blah blah, but when you're in a spot like this, I don't care if you're black, white, purple, yellow, woman, man, bi, trans, you are expected to adhere to a certain etiquette and decorum. And if you can't do that, there's probably another conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing. I mean, like I say to my kids, don't embarrass me. I mean, if other people are looking in on Quincy, is this how you want people to see us? This is crazy. Kind of like when we talk about, national stuff. How do other countries look at the United States of America? They're not looking at us like some kind of big brother.
No.
They're looking at us like some kind of toddler.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know what the hell we're doing and can't figure it out. And on a Quincy scale, yes, things are really important, but I think we kind of, we set the tone for how people respect what we're doing. And I just don't see it.
Get it together.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, when you said other countries looking in on America, that reminded me of one other article that you should check out. It was a past article. I think it was posted on Monday, but our articles live forever. It was the Daily Dirt. He was comparing how different foods, like how Europe views Americans in their food.
Yeah.
And one of the things that blew me away was that Europeans don't put ice in their beverages. They like to drink them.
I mean, and all their beers warm. Most of their beers.
And I am just thinking, ew, gross. Like, I think the only thing that I want that's not iced would be my EFB coffee.
EFB. That's right. Thank you, EFB, for sponsoring all the tea on Coffee Talk. Of course, we love what you bring to our table, but we also love what you bring to the community. And maybe you can give our city council some tips on how to operate with some respect. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there, just tying it all together.
Or just give them, encourage them to come in for a hot cup of hot chocolate or coffee before the meeting. And
I don't know if they need any coffee.
Well, okay, hot chocolate.
Hot
warm
chocolate.
yourself up.
Yeah.
Warm your
insides. Yeah. Warm your, I don't know. I just think it's crazy to me. Crazy. Sit down, have a conversation, work some things out, come to the table with some dignity, show some respect to not only yourselves, but to your constituents, the people there you're representing. Don't sit in the back unless there's a good reason.
Yeah.
That's
unless
crazy.
you got like the farts or something.
Yeah. And in which case, just don't show up because nobody needs any more stink in there. Okay.
All
On that note, I think that does it for today's
Coffee Talk.
Catch you next time.